Rats.
You didn't even give it like a 3 seconds. You just like, rats.
Rats.
Rats. What is this? What are Ratatouille? Is it like? Are we gonna make a? Are you a chef now? Do you have a pet rat? I mean,
Is that rat? I've never seen Ratatouille.
Okay. So going back to my clown days, believe it or not, I was hired by Disney Family Cruises. Now this is such a weird story, but and I wasn't a clown, and I wasn't working for Disney necessarily. But I was hired to be an entertainer, to lead games and dances and other stuff like that on
an entertainer.
An entertainer to go around. Yeah, I know it sounds weird. To go around Puget Sound for a weekend, multiple times with like cast from various Disney TV shows and multiple families as they did multiple tours around Puget Sound, and doing like to kick off the movie. It was an interesting
to kick off Ratatouille.
Yes,
interesting.
I know.
So you were like a furry.
No, I wasn't dressed as anything. I think they gave me like a chef hat and a chef suit, and I was there to just like help lead like the DJ would play music, and they would have a couple of the Disney kids start a dance or whatever, and then I was supposed to like goof around and just be goofy with the families and get the kids to the actual families and the kids to come out and dance, or like, oh, we're playing with a volleyball, or not a volleyball, I mean like a beach ball or whatever, and just all sorts of that kind of stuff, and just like hype up the crowd. So
you were a hype man for rats.
I was a hype man for rats. Yes, exactly.
Is that what I'm learning?
Hype man.
I don't even know what Ratatouille is about. I know there are rats in it because it's called Ratatouille.
It's about a guy who wants to learn how to make like an amazing food dish, but the only way that he can learn is to learn how to cook ratatouille with a rat. Tatouille. I don't know. I've never seen the movie, but
you've never seen it either?
I've never seen it either. But that's the high concept that one of the Disney kids tried to tell me about. Like, do we need to review this movie or something? Or? It's a cartoon. It's animated. It's in a wheelhouse.
Is it on the Disney app?
It is it's on Disney Plus, I'm sure.
Do you have Disney Plus?
I do. How do you think I've been watching all that Obi-Wan?
Oh, that's fair, but you don't have so many other things. That's why I asked.
Okay, so to be fair, you are correct. But also, I probably do have these things. I just am dumb and don't know how to log into them.
Well, I can see that.
That's even fairer. I am also the guy that ate the death nut challenge, or most of it today, and my mouth is still... You keep talking
about eating hot nuts.
I know. Well, I mean, like ghost peppers and Carolina Reapers, and yeah, they're hot, and I am still paying the price. And then the flaming hot Mountain Dew. That is...
Wait, you have flaming hot Mountain Dew?
Yes, and it is hot. It is spicy. It is citrusy sweet. It is... That's gross. Disgusting, and it tastes like Dayquil. So
you put hot sauce in Mountain Dew?
No, I did not put hot sauce in Mountain Dew. They put hot sauce in Mountain Dew.
So you're having heat and caffeine at the same time?
Yes.
Like, how could this possibly go wrong?
I know, exactly, right? Because, like, and I ate all that other hot stuff. Like, okay, so it's like a flight of 5 of the hottest peppers, like peanuts dipped in these things, right? So I ate 3 of them before C Ray Gun for Scrape was like, stop eating those things. You're making a weird face. You look like you're going to explode. You're sweating all over the place. You got to blow your nose. Like, and I'm like, I can't tell my eyes. I can't, I rub my face. It was horrible. There's a video online. What we do for comics, right? I mean, you and I do a podcast. I do dumb things for Kickstarter.
Who's the we here?
Oh, it's me and the rat in my pocket.
I was about to say, because like, I don't do any weird things for comics. I just like do a podcast and hang out with Squatcho Man every once in a while.
Who's that?
Oh, sorry. Squatcho Man is a the employee of the month at the Retro Emporium in Kent, Washington on Meeker Street. I saw his picture on a wall.
You know what's weird is he's the employee of the month, and he like is there like one day out of every like 2 months, 3 months, and I'm like there 4 days a week.
Well, not as much anymore.
Not as much. Well, I mean, it's gotten slow. So weekends, yes, I'm there. Weekends, Thursdays and Fridays, yeah. I mean, so like, you know.
So what you're saying is the Squatcho Man is a superior employee to you.
For the one day that he's there?
He's very popular. And
he is very popular.
For those of you that have no idea what we're talking about, Squatcho Man, it can best be explained as a Sasquatch who loves Macho Man Randy Savage.
And
has embraced the lifestyle. It's true.
I think there's video of him on hold on, let me see if I can pull it up on my phone because
you're gonna pull it up on your phone so our one listener can see you pulling stuff up on your phone.
They can't see me pulling very useful. Phone, but they could hear.
One listener, I apologize for this.
Welcome to the Retro Emporium. I expect the unexpected. I mean, he does that kind of thing, right? So I mean, that's the
okay. Oh, you were pulling up a recording.
Yeah. I mean, like that people could see that on the they can't get into the retroscope.
That's fair. Well, this is an invigorating and exciting conversation about the Squatcho Man. I'm not really sure how we veered this way. Before we get into Nathaniel Dusk number 4, do you have anything to talk about? Announcements.
And that. Well, I would tell everybody that you and I are going to be at a place this weekend, but if this podcast comes out when I think it will, it's going to be so late that weekend is going to be like 5 weeks in the future. Or, I mean, this podcast will be released.
Well, in the future or present, future, past, depending on when I release this podcast. Where are we going?
We're going to be at SummerCon in beautiful downtown Puyallup at the Washington State Fairgrounds, a.k.a. the Puyallup Fairgrounds.
Okay.
But you and I will be there on Sunday. You might get your tickets at the gate, but you won't even need the seat. I don't even know. Will they need a seat? They don't need a seat.
It's a Saturday and Sunday,
it's
the 18th and 19th.
It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal.
A Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, Friday night.
I'll only be there on Sunday. So if you want to meet the fun half of this podcast, you can go on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you and I are going to have a good time hanging out doing that. And I hear there's going to be all sorts of cool guests.
So what you're saying is we had a good time.
Yeah, we had a good time. We had a great time. We were located in the like the hall with all like the special guests and stuff like that. So it was like cool to get high fives and like, shout outs and stuff. They were like, "Hey guys, we love your podcast." And you're like, I know. You even put your sunglasses on.
Yeah, so we had a great time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it too. It seemed nice.
Yeah, it was great. It was like we talked, to all folks.
And what are some of the things we talked about?
We talked about how I eat dumb stuff and
Starlight, maybe.
And Starlight and the Junior Braves of the Apocalypse. Scrape. And how awesome it was to hit the funding goal and blow it out of the water because people are like, "Oh my gosh, I want to get this on a comic book store." So all these retailers like just showed up out of nowhere and started buying like I am blown away by this. Like you put a retailer tier on a Kickstarter and people show up. That's nuts. And T-shirts, who would have thought? But they did. So it's a thing. But yeah, no, Starlight issue 5 coming out. Junior Braves got the RPG. Who couldn't want to play an RPG with your family, your friends, the kids down the street, and like put them in the apocalypse and then watch them try to stumble around? I
mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to do an RPG where stuff is everywhere?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's wild. It's wild. I tell you,
wild. It's crazy.
Whoa.
Okay, well, with all the announcements out of the way, maybe we should get into the rats now.
The rats.
And here they are. There are rats.
There are so many rats on this cover. How many rats are there, Dan? How many?
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're right. And then one thanks. Right in the middle. That's 7. Oh, wait. He's not a rat.
No, but it does look like he's friends with Speedy.
It does. I mean, this cover, like, honestly, like, with the syringe and anything like that, he's like, oh my gosh, what is he doing? He's doing some drugs. I've seen this cover before. Whoa.
Yeah. Hey, Green Arrow, your word Speedy
is doing some drugs. Yeah.
Well, it's fantastic. So issue 4 of a 4-part miniseries of Nathaniel Dusk, Private Investigator. This means we are getting to the end of the story, and it does not look good for Nathaniel. He is on the ground. Rats are everywhere. He's looking deadish. But he's looked dead a lot. So I don't know if he's dead.
He's been in rougher shape.
We know it's
issue.
Well, we still know this is May 1984. So this would have come out, February?
February, yeah.
And so cover date May 1984. And we've got Atari Joust again, thank God, on the cover. But I talked about that a lot in the last episode, so we will venture away from that.
Yeah.
But Nathaniel's back in his favorite place. He's back in the water.
Back in the water, his favorite place, with all his clothes on. He's got dangerously close to the prop for the propeller.
Yep. We're in the Staten Island ferry, in the Hudson River.
Yeah.
I don't really know New York very well. I assume I got all that correct. Our one listener can fix that if I screwed that up.
Yeah, no, you're pretty. I think you're pretty dead on. Yeah.
And he's thinking about blades ripping him in two, which is always fun.
Oh yeah, no, not good at all.
And we have created by Don McGregor and written, illustrated by Colan again, lettering by John Constanza, coloring by Tom Ziuko. I've said his name 18 different times throughout these podcasts, so why not say it 4 more different ways?
There you go.
And edited by Alan Gold.
Who?
Alan Gold.
Say it one more time.
That's an easy one. I got it.
Okay.
I think I got that one.
All right. I knew you could. I believe in you, Dan.
So we are. Hey, I was right. He swam the black muck of the Hudson in his trench coat.
Yep.
He says, "Great swimming apparel," and he kicked downward. The coat seemed to imprison his legs. Rush of churning screws. A lot of good, again, commentary here. And I'm not going to read all of it, but the basic gist of it: he's in a trench coat, which doesn't make good swimming. It's not at all. Not so great.
Bad.
And he doesn't want to get stuck at the bottom, but he kicks up and surfaces, and a tugboat finds him.
Lucky guy, lucky day. And
they warm him up, and he goes back to his office.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't you? It seems. I swear he lives in that place. I honestly think that is the only reason he goes back there.
Well, and he heads out of the office on Sunday, so he gets a little bit of recovery time. Now we're to February 4th, 1934, and he sees a good friendly Oscar at the magazine stand.
Yeah. Hello, Oscar.
And I wonder if Oscar has the grit at his stand.
The grit. You think? Think he might?
It's possible. I mean, all the kids make their money off selling the grit. Maybe that's how he got started.
Yeah, because you got to get it. Got to get a grit.
You could also learn how to sell new musical microchip greeting cards, which I bet you had. You loved those things.
I did, honestly. Like I would get those. Like if my parents got a greeting card that played music, and then they were like, "Oh, I'm done with this. I'm gonna throw it away or whatever." I would literally like tear that thing apart and then attach it to a door in the house so that it would open. Like when the door would open, it would play.
So you would harvest the microchips.
Yes, I would harvest the microchips because it would open, as soon as it opens. So like if somebody went into the bathroom, you'd hear music. It's usually happy birthday to me.
I bet your parents loved that.
They never said they didn't.
So if you never say you didn't, that means, okay.
He's so inventive. He's got a mind of...
he's got a heart of gold, that boy.
He's so interested in things. All right.
Well, Nathaniel was interested in calling out Oscar.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Dang. He totally put the work on him.
Yeah. And out of nowhere in this story, honestly, I think the clues might have been there, but they have to spell it out for us. So I don't know if the clues were there.
Yeah.
But he grabs Oscar and Oscar's like, Nathan, what are you doing? What's going on? And basically, in a nutshell, he confronts Oscar and asks him why he's been selling him out to the mob.
And he's like, I mean, they run everything. They own it all. I had to.
Yep. Otherwise, I'd lose my business and I couldn't feed my kid that you've been asking about this whole time. And they at least give me money and you don't.
I got doctor's bills. I got to pay the doctors for my boy.
And he does the classic, what's a man to do? Well, how about not sell out to the mob?
That's right.
I feel like there's better ways to do business.
Exactly. But, you know.
It's like the only job I could do was work at a payday loan place. One listener, if you work at a payday loan place, I'm sorry, but you could choose another profession.
There's other places.
There are other jobs. It's like, I can only do this. Well, no. Okay. So he goes to Italian Harlem, not Spanish Harlem.
Italian Harlem.
Yeah. I thought you would sing the song for me, but we're good.
I'm sorry.
You totally dropped the ball there. I set
did.
You up.
You set me
pitched
up.
the ball.
And I dropped it.
You literally watched it. You watched it go over the plate like it was a knuckler. Like you were mesmerized.
And then I was like, wow. I even made a comment. But
well, he gets to Italian Harlem and there's Mrs. Giordano.
Oh, you know who she is. Kinda.
Yep. Kinda. And said, Mrs. Giordano, there's no easy way to say this. Your daughter, mother of God, you tell me she is hurt. Yes, she is dead. I was at her funeral.
No.
And then she starts screaming, no, Blessed Mary, don't say such things. And he says, it was him, wasn't it? He killed her. Such a beautiful girl, such a good girl, my Joyce. He took her life and ruined it. You mean her husband? And she says, his name is not spoken in this house.
He needs to know.
So they proceed to have a glass of wine together, of course, because they're in Italian Harlem.
Yeah.
And
she says
no divorce. And they never got divorced because the church wouldn't permit it. So now he finds out he was sleeping with a married woman. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun.
Yeah. And basically they have a discussion about how he was a good guy once. And then he started beating her after she had a kid. And just kind of a terrible scene altogether. I felt this didn't come out of nowhere because he'd been picking up the clues on the address, if you'll remember, over time, and the location, and picked up the clue in the apartment. So this was foreshadowed. I thought with Oscar, it seemed a little bit out of nowhere, but this definitely was built up too.
Yeah, we knew that this was going to happen at some point. This connection.
And then she identifies the big baddie, who is Joseph Castellino.
Yes, the big bad man.
And then we can get military diamond sales and talk about terrible humans here. I've been to military towns where they have like jewelry sales and all sorts of awful pawn shops and everything around the base to take people's money. So I'm not real thrilled with this ad here. So we're going to keep going.
There we go.
Yeah, and it even starts if you're in the armed forces and your credit is good.
Yep. They'll help you out.
Gross. Okay. Can we just have the joust ads everywhere?
Yeah. Oh, next page. We're back to a familiar face or two.
Guess who's waiting for him outside?
Blondie
because
and the
they
cadaver.
know he's found out the answer. So Blondie and Cadaver are there.
Yeah.
And they confront him, beat the crap out of him, and shoot him full of heroin.
Right then? No, it doesn't happen right all on this page.
Well, it happens on these 2 pages.
On these 2 pages? I guess you're right. On these 2 pages, yeah. I was like, I had to get down to the bottom of the page that we were like the first page. And then, is it heroin or
on
is it
page 10 and 11? Actually, it's rat poison.
It's
apparently.
Rat poison. But they shoot him up pretty good.
They probably couldn't say it was heroin in the comic book. That's probably part of it. So they make it rat poison.
Rat poison.
Even though Speedy was on heroin.
Yeah.
Could be fentanyl. Could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a bad drug, and they have to call it rat poison because I think the comics code is not on this book. So there is no comics code on this book, so they could have called it anything. It's interesting they made it rat poison, I guess.
Maybe,
but it makes sense in the next couple of pages as things move forward.
Yeah.
So then we get some more ridiculously amazing art as he's writhing in pain on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
and he gets thrown, and they basically throw him into old building, lock the door, and then the rats come crawling out. And we have this sequence where he's really tripping out from being nauseous on the rat poison.
Yeah.
And he sees rats, and he's seeing everything, and he's smashing things in this place.
Oh yeah, no, he's getting worked over. He's working the place over. He's trying to get the rat poison out.
Yeah, he cuts himself to suck out the rat poison like you would do he says, I read it in a pulp novel, which is hilarious.
Because, yeah.
Well, that's what, I mean, in every one of those bad TV shows we watched as a kid.
Oh, yeah. A snake bit me, gotta suck the poison out. Doesn't necessarily work that way, and usually the other person will get poisoned.
Right. That would be a terrible idea. Don't do that. That's why you carry a bite kit or something like that in your backpack. So yeah, I would avoid doing that, but that's what they did. So anyway, it happens here, and he does that, and he passes out, and then eventually wakes up.
Oh man, he's got the spins.
I don't want him talking about sucking and spitting for a long time. So
yeah,
but that's what it says.
Yeah.
So now he's dead. He's up again, and he's hitting the boards trying to get out. Eventually, he breaks through, and he jumps out a window.
Yeah.
And we jump all the way from Sunday to Thursday, February 8th.
It's like the kids from A Christmas Story are waiting outside. And
yeah.
What was that, Ralphie? He doesn't look so good.
So, yeah, he moves. He's passed on the ground. He goes to the hospital Thursday, February 8th. Now he's in the hospital, and there's his good friend.
Hey, Murray.
Yep, Murray's back. I believe Murray's probably figured out at this point he didn't do it.
Yeah, because how else would you end up in such a predicament if you did?
And then you could get 3D stickers, 6 fantastic stickers for $1. UFOs, space heroes, sharks, and more.
Hey.
Yeah. You could also get a free catalog with over 1,600 novelties.
Whoa, awesome.
Yeah.
Or a book safe.
If you order a book safe for $3.75.
Hermit crabs.
And what you would hide in there was coins, right?
Yes.
In your book safe?
Yes.
That's what you hid in there, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Exactly.
Checking.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I?
You can also do dynamic health bodybuilding or build an Atlas body.
Nice.
And of course, Bill Crosby wants us to set.
If you can't send your money, he wants you to be part of the American Red Cross, which
yeah, so he could fly on mission.
Yeah, it's all bad. The whole lower part is all just bad advertising.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Did we Empire Comics? I think we mentioned that before. I didn't see if that was still there. So, well, anyway, hospital detective,
says,
private detective.
Get better.
Yeah. I have an Empire Comics vault.
Do you?
Empire's Comics vault in Hots. No, I don't think that's it.
It's not it.
There is an Empire Comics of Buffalo.
Maybe the same place.
I don't know. Was that Buffalo? Let's go back a page. It was Rochester, New York.
Maybe they moved.
Well, it says top comic book store in Buffalo. Well, anyway, okay. So that's my crack investigation skills. Not as good as Nathaniel Dusk.
Not as good as Nathaniel Dusk, who's in the hospital.
Well, we are here. We have a nice hospital conversation, and he basically recaps what he just did.
Yeah. Murray's like, all right, I
thanks.
Believe you.
Yeah. And then they talk. They mention a whore who works for Joseph Castellino's boys. She's a material witness, and Murray knows who it is. Her name's Sherry D'Angelo, and the two of them can give you the real goods. Talk to Oscar Flam, too. Tell him I sent you. So he's helping him out now.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, he gets out of bed, and he decides to leave the hospital, which seems like a terrible idea. But he heads out to the Castellino residence, and he's going to take problems into his own hands, which sounds like a fantastically good idea.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's been poisoned. He's been drowned a bit. He's had all sorts of stuff. He's fell off a building. He's been shot at, beat up. Yeah, why not? He's got to, though. He's got to see this thing through, right?
Yep, and then he busts in, and, of course, Castellino starts calling him sewage, asking him,
like, who do you think you are?
What are you doing in my home? I came to say goodbye. And he's standing there shooting at him, and then there's the fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
And then Constantino falls.
Just boom.
He slips, and now he's got a gun to his head, and he shoots him. Oh, he shoots Cadaver.
Yeah, shoots Cadaver.
Yeah. And Cadaver falls, and Blondie's back.
Oh, Blondie. And,
we're fighting. There's a big white page.
Oh.
I have a big white page.
Well, they're fighting, and then, was it Dusk? He's like, I gotta kill you, or my rep shot, and it's Blondie, and Dusk is like, try it, and your boss goes first.
Yeah.
And Blondie's like, nobody's my boss, and you hear "Cacat."
Yeah, and he shoots Castellino.
Boom, done.
So now Blondie's the only one left.
Ice cold.
And they start fighting, and Dusk grabs some wood out of the fireplace that they foreshadowed, and he lights. I've just got to say, I don't think I'm ever going to wear a trench coat again.
Because they catch on fire?
Fall into the water with trench coats, catching them on fire. He burns the guy up.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it. It's the end. He took them all out.
Yeah.
And he walks away saying, "What's the matter, Blondie? You're not smiling anymore? You've got to admit one thing, Blondie. I do good work, don't I?"
That was Blondie's line. Blondie's line.
And so now we get to the epilogue. Yay. I love epilogues. I think all stories should have them. I also think all songs should fade out.
That's not bad. Yeah. No, I like that.
I miss fade outs.
Yeah.
And now he's got Joyce's kids, and they're hanging out together, and they're chatting, and she calls him out and says he's trying to say he loves her mom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And that's the end of the story of Nathaniel Dusk for now.
Yeah. It's so compact and tight and tidy.
It almost seemed like it ended a little fast, but I mean, you got 4 issues, so what do you do?
Yeah, you have to wrap it. You have to. If you know that you only have this many pages to tell the story in, you have to do it in that time.
Yeah, I mean, I just watched the second to last episode of the first half of the 4th. Did I get all this right? The second to the last episode of the first half of the 4th season of Stranger Things. Is that all correct?
Yes.
Okay. And yeah, they are rapping fast. Leading into this mid-season. I haven't watched I've watched 20 minutes of the last episode, but I haven't watched it all. But it is wrapping quickly. And so, yeah, I get when you have some subplots and things like that. The Oscar thing seemed to come out of nowhere, but it seemed like they wrapped up everything else pretty well.
Definitely. Speaking of TV, do you think this would make a good show, like a season?
Maybe if you did this in the second miniseries, which we'll probably not cover, but yeah.
We're not going to cover it? I'm done.
Well, not right now. We're going to do some other things.
All the time, and that usually means we're never going to read it.
That doesn't mean we're never going to cover it. We could get to Nathaniel Dusk 2 at some point, but I think we've had our fill of Nathaniel.
You've had your fill? Oh, fine.
For a while. I mean, there are just a few comics out there in the world, and
there's a few. Okay.
I don't want to read private detective books.
So you think
forever?
But you think if you had this book and this small run series and the second one put together, you'd have a good, like, a one and done season of a show, or 2 seasons maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it British style, I think you could do like that 3 or 4 parter thing, right?
Yeah.
And do 3 more. Yeah, maybe that's the style it should be done in. I think the book's a lot of fun. So, and it's getting a lot of praise in the letter columns. Obviously, letter columns are probably going to cherry pick the praise, but folks liked it. Yeah. There were folks. I think if you think about what's going on around this time on television, gosh, when did Mike Hammer get on television?
It was just either around this time or just before this time. So it was 1984. Yeah,
84. Yeah. So the new Mike Hammer's on. So this is in 84. The new Mike Hammer's on in started the 84 season. So that would have been the next fall, right?
Yeah. It's all popular content.
Yeah. At the time, you've got the new Mike Hammer, of course. not to be confused with the original series. So you've got that going on television. I think there was a thirst for these kind of things continuously, but with that on television at the time, I don't think anybody would have been really interested in making this into anything.
Yeah.
Now, could you come back and revisit a property like this?
Oh.
I think, sure. I think there'd be an appreciation. I think one thing that hurts, which hurts Don McGregor's chances of ever getting this anywhere, of course, him himself, but also the detail he gave about the time period in the book. Obviously, you can reset the time period. I think a lot of television shows don't pay attention to the time period in this much detail, or would have trouble making it and getting people to relate to it. But I like it. I mean, gosh, I know it's probably like 4 or 5 years ago now. They did Mystery on the Orient Express, right? They did an Agatha Christie. It was fairly popular film. So why not?
I think if you had the right cast involved, it would get people's interest. I think people do like to watch something that is a little, is set in a different time frame than what they're used to. I mean, Peaky Blinders is set roughly in the same time frame that this is set in. I mean, obviously set in a different country. In the UK.
This could be a 4-episode HBO Max series, sure, but then do you really want it to be?
Yeah.
You really want HBO Max handling this?
Well, maybe not HBO Max. I mean, I could see it as
That's who's got it. So
is it?
Yep.
Oh wow.
It's Warner, so it'd be Nathaniel Dusk starring John Cena.
Oh my God. Imagine that.
I mean, John Cena was fantastic in Peacemaker. I had to get talked into watching it multiple times, and that show is fantastic.
I thought he was much better in Cockblocker.
Did you watch Peacemaker?
No, I haven't seen it.
I will allow you to watch that because you need to. It's fantastic. I think even your other would like it.
Yeah. I'm sure we would enjoy it. I mean, honestly, I could see him going to the role and making it something. It would be interesting.
It would be interesting, but I mean, I would want somebody good playing the lead, and
Mark Wahlberg. I'm not joking.
It's a possibility.
I'm not joking. I think you put Mark Wahlberg as I've seen it. He was in what the Spencer they did that the Spencer show, and that was the movie, and he did a good job as a private detective in the it's like in the 90s or maybe like early 2000s.
I have an idea for the lead on this actually.
Okay. Throw it out.
Because he has a working relationship with Warner Brothers because he actually voiced
Michael Keith,
a Green Lantern cartoon.
Oh, okay.
And he's done cop parts pretty extensively in his whole career. I would want Christopher Maloney.
Oh, okay.
For this part.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he's done Oz. He's done Law & Order SVU much longer than obviously Oz was on. He's got the previous relationship with HBO. He's got a previous relationship with DC Comics voicing some characters. He's of an age where I think this could work for him.
Yeah.
He's not quite too old to play it, I think. That's where I would stand on that.
I could see it. I could see it too. I honestly, I would love to dreamcast this and cast it out and then put it out into the world, and then all of a sudden somebody say, these guys were talking about this comic book, and I read the comic book. I thought it was really good. They had this idea, and then all of a sudden there's people that are like, this is not a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it happening. Now, has he done something wrong I don't know about? Is he raped anyone or anything like that? I don't know about.
Something terrible on the internet or been videotaped.
Yeah, and I just want to make it clear: rape is not a joke. What I am simply saying is I am so ill-informed on these issues that I literally don't know if somebody's done something wrong.
Yeah. So if he has, then that would definitely make him not the choice. But
okay, I just really want to make sure that I'm not putting somebody in the role who's done something terrible.
Well, you could Google him.
I am. So
are you? And the verdict
I don't see anything. I'm not seeing anything.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Okay, so, well, with that said, we can move on to the end of this episode, and I think we're good.
Get your 75 free Matchbox Fluffy stickers to go in your Xbox cars.
I just want the wonderful Advanced Dungeons & Dragons video game for Intellivision.
I tell you, man, the only thing good about that game is this advertisement, right? Excuse me. Death nuts.
The only thing good about that game
is...
Can you hold your hot nuts down, please?
I can't. Is this picture right here? Because that game is very hard and not fun.
I understand Chris Maloney had hot nuts on Oz as well.
Yeah? Cool. Yeah. Oh, boy.
I'm not going to touch that.
No, not going to touch it. They've already been touched.
It's fair.
Right?
That's just it's so interesting. That show I could just not watch.
You could just not watch it?
No, like really, it was just too real. It was too disturbing. It was too messed up. Nope.
You're like, I get the concept. I seen snippets of it, and this is everything that I don't need to see.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I get it. There are definitely, like, you watch reality TV sometimes for an escape, and then or your reality TV and scripted TV for those two escapes, and sometimes the scripted TV is so real based off of what you you understand to be real from things that it's like watching very well produced reality TV, and you don't want it. So
yeah, the show is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, I mean, I saw a couple episodes, but it's not something I was going to keep watching. So
you're like, okay, this is all I need.
Well, anyway, now that we're lost on Chris Maloney's acting, I do think he could be a private detective to play this part.
Yeah.
But he'd have to be bald, of course.
Of course. It can be done.
Well, on that note, we talked about the plugs at the beginning. So do you have any final words here as we wrap up issue 4 of Nathaniel Dusk?
I am good. How about you?
I think it's good. I think it's a pretty low key podcast, honestly, but we're wrapping up a really great story, and we may sound low key on this one, but I do highly recommend going back to the dollar bins and grabbing these and taking a look.
You should. I'll always tell you to go find that US one, but I mean, if you happen across Nathaniel Dusk...
Well, once you thumb past the 50 copies of US 1 number 1 in the dollar bin, you may also look earlier in the alphabet and find Nathaniel Dusk.
Yeah, and if you find Nathaniel Dusk 1 through 4, grab them all, but make sure they're from the same story.
The good news about Nathaniel Dusk 2 has a big 2 on the cover, so you could go find both. Really?
Yes, it's number 2.
Well, on that note, I'm not sure I have anything else to add. So I'm Dan.
And I'm Greg. And that was the kazoo.
And this was another fantastic episode of Funny Book Forensics. See you soon.
Funny Book Forensics. Oh, I got to hit the stop button.